Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Will Trent Season 3, Episode 2, picking up right where that explosive premiere left us hanging. If you missed our recap of Episode 1, make sure to check that out first. The link is in the description below. This Will Trent Season 3, Episode 2 recap will cover everything from Sonny's kidnapping resolution to the deepening police corruption investigation that's threatening to tear apart the Atlanta PD and GBI relationship. Episode 2, titled The Price of Loyalty, delivers on the promises made in the premiere while raising the stakes even higher. If you're new here, I'm Amelia, and on this channel, we break down all your favorite crime dramas with the attention to detail that would make Will Trent himself proud. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of our weekly Will Trent recaps. Now, I need to give you all a major spoiler warning. We're going to discuss everything that happened in episode 2, so if you haven't watched it yet, this is your chance to pause this video and come back after you've seen it. Trust me, you'll want to experience these shocking moments firsthand. For those of you who are ready, let's jump into this Will Trent Season 3 Episode 2 recap and unpack what might be one of the most revealing episodes about corruption within the Atlanta Police Department. So grab your snacks, settle in, and let's dive into The Price of Loyalty. Before we dive into episode 2, let's quickly recap where we left off in the season 3 premiere. Will Trent returned to Atlanta after a 6-month absence following his breakup with Angie. He was immediately thrust into investigating a shooting at a police barbecue that left one officer dead and another injured. The investigation led Will to reconnect with Raphael Wexford, the leader of the Piedmont Kings gang and someone from Will's past who, along with his grandmother, Miss Pearl, had given Will a home when he aged out of the foster care system. This revelation added new layers to Will's backstory and helped explain some of his complex feelings about justice and loyalty. Evidence initially pointed to Raphael's gang being responsible for the shooting, but Will's instincts suggested something wasn't right. His suspicions were confirmed when Raphael's young daughter Sonny was kidnapped, with the kidnapper demanding that Raphael take the fall for the police shooting. Will also met Assistant District Attorney Marion Alba, with whom he shared an unexpected connection. Their initial professional interaction hinted at potential personal developments to come. By the end of episode 1, the team had discovered that the shooting was likely orchestrated by a corrupt officer trying to frame the Piedmont Kings. Will and Faith identified inconsistencies in evidence processing that pointed to specific APD officers, while Amanda led a team closing in on Sonny's location. The episode ended with a two-pronged cliffhanger. Will and Faith identified the killer but hadn't yet apprehended them, while Amanda and her team were closing in on Sonny's location but hadn't yet rescued her. Raphael had agreed to temporarily play along with the corrupt officer's plan to buy the GBI team time to gather evidence and locate his daughter. Complete Will Trent Season 3, Episode 2. Recap the rescue mission. Episode 2 opens with a tense sequence as Amanda Wagner leads a tactical team approaching the abandoned building where they believe Sonny is being held. The operation is meticulously planned, with Amanda coordinating with Will and Faith via radio. This Will Trent Season 3 Episode 2 recap begins with one of the most nail-biting sequences of the season so far. The rescue team moves through the darkened building with precision, clearing rooms one by one. The cinematography here is exceptional, using tight camera angles and limited lighting to create a sense of claustrophobia and tension. When they finally locate Sonny, she's being guarded by a masked figure who flees at the first sign of the GBI team. Sonny Wexford rescue becomes the focal point of the episode's opening act. Despite her young age, Sonny demonstrates remarkable resilience and intelligence. When Amanda reaches her, the girl is already working on freeing herself from her restraints, having created a makeshift tool from items in the room. This small detail speaks volumes about her character and hints at why Will feels such a connection to her. She's a survivor, just like him. The Sonny Wexford rescue operation isn't without complications. As the team attempts to extract her from the building, they encounter booby traps set by the kidnapper. another indication that this was a professional job rather than typical gang activity. Amanda's quick thinking prevents serious injuries, but the message is clear. They're dealing with someone who knows police tactics. In a particularly moving scene, Raphael is brought to a secure location for his reunion with Sonny. The Will Trent season 3 episode 2 analysis of this moment reveals the emotional core of the episode. The lengths a father will go to protect his child, regardless of his other life choices. When Raphael embraces Sonny, the camera lingers on Will's face, suggesting he's reflecting on his own childhood and the parental love he never experienced. The Will Trent Sonny kidnapping resolution isn't just about the physical rescue, but also about the information Sonny provides. Despite her young age, she proves to be an observant witness. She tells Will that her kidnapper smelled like a police officer, referring to a specific brand of cologne popular among APD officers. This crucial detail further confirms Will's suspicion that they're dealing with police corruption. The Will Trent police corruption storyline deepens with new evidence. With Sonny safely rescued, the focus shifts to identifying and apprehending the corrupt officer behind both the shooting and kidnapping. The Will Trent police corruption storyline takes center stage as Will and Faith compile evidence against their prime suspect, Officer Jason Kelsey, a decorated APD veteran with connections to the evidence room where tampering occurred. The investigation faces significant obstacles as the blue wall of silence emerges, officers reluctant to provide information that might incriminate one of their own. This creates tension between the GBI and APD, with Ormwood caught in the middle due to his connections to both organizations. In a pivotal scene, Will and Faith interview Officer Kelsey's partner, who initially provides an alibi for Kelsey during the time of the kidnapping. However, Will notices subtle inconsistencies in the partner's statement. Using his unique observational skills, Will focuses on the partner's body language and verbal tics, eventually getting him to admit that he was pressured to cover for Kelsey. The GBI APD tension Will Trent experiences becomes a central theme as the investigation progresses. In a heated exchange with an APD captain, Will argues that protecting corrupt officers damages the integrity of the entire department. This scene showcases Will's unwavering commitment to justice, even when it puts him at odds with powerful figures. A breakthrough comes when Marion Alba provides Will with financial records, showing suspicious deposits into Kelsey's offshore account. The Will Trent-Marion Alba relationship develops further as they work together on building the case. Their professional collaboration reveals a shared passion for justice and attention to detail that draws them closer. The investigation takes an unexpected turn when they discover that Officer Kelsey isn't acting alone. He's part of a larger network of corruption within the APD. Evidence suggests that several officers have been taking payoffs to target specific gangs while protecting others, creating an artificial power imbalance in Atlanta's criminal underworld. This revelation raises the stakes significantly, as Will and Faith realize they're not just pursuing a single corrupt officer, but potentially exposing a systemic issue within the APD. The Will Trent corrupt officer investigation becomes more dangerous as those involved realize they're being targeted. The complex history between Raphael Wexford Will Trent. With Sonny safe, Raphael faces a difficult decision. The corrupt officers still expect him to take the fall for the shooting, and backing out now would put both him and Sonny in danger again. This section of the episode explores the complex relationship between Raphael Wexford, Will Trent through both present-day interactions and revealing flashbacks. In a private conversation, Raphael and Will discuss their options. Raphael expresses frustration that despite cooperating with the GBI, he's still trapped. Either go to prison for a crime he didn't commit or risk retaliation against his family. This dilemma highlights the impossible situations that arise when the justice system itself is corrupted. A powerful flashback sequence shows a young Will and Raphael 20 years earlier. We see how Raphael protected Will from neighborhood threats and how Miss Pearl treated both boys as family. The Raphael Wexford. Will Trent friendship history provides context for Will's conflicted feelings in the present. He owes Raphael a debt but is also bound by his commitment to justice. Will proposes a risky solution. Raphael will continue to play along with the corrupt officer's plan while wearing a wire, gathering evidence that could bring down the entire network. This plan puts Raphael in significant danger, but offers him a path to potential freedom and protection for his family. Miss Pearl plays a crucial role in this section, serving as the moral compass for both men. In a scene rich with emotion and history, she reminds them both of the choices that led them to their current paths. Raphael choosing to lead a gang despite her hopes for him, and Will channeling his pain into seeking justice. The Will Trent Miss Pearl backstory adds emotional depth to the episode. Raphael ultimately agrees to Will's plan, not out of loyalty to Will or the justice system, but out of love for his daughter and respect for his grandmother. This decision sets up the episode's climactic operation while reinforcing the theme that loyalty to family, to friends, to principles often comes with a heavy price. The Faithful Partnership GBI demonstrates perfect teamwork. The episode builds toward its climax as Will, Faith, and Amanda coordinate a complex sting operation to catch Officer Kelsey and his corrupt colleagues. The Faithful Partnership GBI showcases their restored professional dynamic, with Faith's methodical approach complementing Will's intuitive leaps. The operation involves multiple moving parts: Raphael wearing a wire to meet with the corrupt officers, surveillance teams positioned strategically around the meeting location, and backup units ready to move in. Amanda oversees the operation from a command center, while Will and Faith monitor the wire transmission from a nearby vehicle. The tension builds as Raphael meets with Officer Kelsey and two other corrupt officers. Following Will's coaching, Raphael skillfully gets the officers to incriminate themselves, discussing both the shooting and Sonny's kidnapping. The Will Trent season. 3 episode 2 analysis of this scene highlights the exceptional acting and direction, creating unbearable tension as Raphael walks a dangerous line. Just as the officers begin to suspect something is wrong, questioning Raphael too aggressively, Will makes the call to move in. What follows is a chaotic but meticulously choreographed sequence as GBI agents swarm the location. Officer Kelsey attempts to flee but is cornered by Will in a tense standoff. In one of the episode's most powerful moments, Will confronts Kelsey about betraying his badge and the public trust. Kelsey attempts to justify his actions by claiming the system is broken and that he was just looking out for himself. Will's response cuts to the heart of his character. The system isn't perfect, but it's all some of us have ever had. The Faith-Will Partnership GBI demonstrates its strength when Faith arrives, just as the confrontation between Will and Kelsey threatens to turn violent. Her calm presence helps Will maintain his professionalism, and together they take Kelsey into custody. The operation successfully captures Kelsey and one other corrupt officer, but the third manages to escape, suggesting that the corruption storyline will continue beyond this episode. The Will Trent Episode 2 cliffhanger leaves viewers wondering just how far the corruption extends within the APD. The Will Trent Angie tension remains unresolved after his return. With the case largely resolved, the episode's final act focuses on the personal developments and relationships that form the emotional core of the series. The Will Trent Angie tension looms large, even though they haven't directly interacted since Will's return to Atlanta. In a quiet scene at his home, Will finally unpacks his bags, symbolically accepting his return to Atlanta. Nico visits, bringing Betty back from a walk, and comments that Angie stopped by the house while Will was working the case. This news clearly affects Will, though he tries to hide it. The Will Trent Angie tension is palpable even in her absence. The Will Trent Marion Alba relationship takes a significant step forward when Marion brings case files to Will's house. What begins as a professional visit evolves into a more personal conversation as they share a meal and discuss their approaches to justice. Unlike his complicated history with Angie, Will's connection with Marion feels like a fresh start. Someone who knows him as he is now, not who he was in his troubled past. Faith and Will share a moment of reconciliation at the GBI office, with Faith acknowledging that while she's still upset about Will's disappearance, she understands he needed time away. The Faith Will partnership GBI is officially back on solid ground, with Faith telling Will, "Just don't disappear on me again without saying goodbye." This exchange highlights the growth in their relationship from merely colleagues to genuine friends. The episode also touches on Ormwood's personal struggles, as we see him dealing with tension at home related to his work schedule and the dangers of his job. This subplot, while brief, sets up potential developments for his character throughout the season. In the episode's final scene, Will visits Miss Pearl again, bringing her favorite dessert as a thank you for her help with Raphael. Their conversation turns to Will's childhood, with Miss Pearl revealing that she had tried to adopt Will from the foster system, but was denied due to her age and limited income. This revelation hits Will hard. The knowledge that someone had wanted him, had tried to give him a home, but was prevented by the very system meant to protect him. The Will Trent season. 3 Episode 2 recap concludes with Will sitting on Miss Pearl's porch, looking at an old photo she gives him of himself and Raphael as teenagers. As the camera pulls back, we see Angie watching from her car parked down the street, suggesting that their inevitable confrontation is coming soon. Will Trent Season 3 character development takes center stage in this episode, particularly through the exploration of loyalty as a central theme. The title, The Price of Loyalty, works on multiple levels throughout the narrative. For Raphael, loyalty to his daughter comes at the potential cost of his freedom. For the corrupt officers, misplaced loyalty to each other enables their criminal behavior. For Will, loyalty to justice sometimes conflicts with personal relationships, as seen in both his history with Raphael and his breakup with Angie. The Will Trent season. 3 Episode 2 analysis reveals how the episode skillfully balances the procedural elements of the police corruption case with the emotional weight of the characters' personal struggles. The case itself serves as a mirror reflecting Will's internal conflict, his dedication to a flawed system, despite knowing its limitations firsthand. The episode also continues to explore Will's complex relationship with authority and institutions. Having grown up failed by the foster care system, Will now works within another imperfect system, law enforcement. His determination to root out corruption suggests a desire to fix from within what he couldn't change from without. The visual storytelling deserves special mention, particularly in how the episode uses Atlanta's geography to highlight social divisions. The contrast between the abandoned building where Sonny was held, Raphael's neighborhood, and the upscale areas where the corrupt officers live visually reinforces the theme of systemic inequality that underlies much of the season's narrative. Character dynamics continue to evolve in interesting ways. The Will Trent-Marion Alba relationship offers a potential new beginning for Will, while the unresolved Will Trent-Angie tension promises emotional complications to come. Faith's growing confidence in her partnership with Will suggests her character arc may involve stepping into a more assertive leadership role. This Will Trent season. 3 Episode 2 recap wouldn't be complete without acknowledging how the episode advances the season's larger narrative. The escaped corrupt officer and hints of wider police corruption create an ongoing threat that will likely resurface. Meanwhile, the personal revelations about Will's past with Miss Pearl and Raphael add new dimensions to his character that will inform his actions going forward. Based on the developments in Episode 2, we can make some educated guesses about where Season 3 might be heading. The Will Trent Season 3. Episode 2 recap gives us several clues about future storylines. The police corruption plot is clearly not resolved, with one corrupt officer still at large and hints of higher-level involvement. This suggests a season-long arc that might lead all the way to department leadership or even political figures in Atlanta. The Will Trent police corruption storyline has the potential to become the most significant case of Will's career. The Raphael Wexford-Will Trent relationship will likely continue to evolve. With Raphael having helped the GBI, he might expect Will's protection or assistance in the future, creating ethical dilemmas for Will as he balances his professional responsibilities with personal loyalty. The inevitable confrontation between Will and Angie looms on the horizon. Their unresolved feelings and complicated histories suggest this won't be a simple conversation. The Will Trent Angie tension might reach a breaking point, forcing both characters to make definitive choices about their relationship. The Will Trent Marion Alba relationship appears to be developing toward romance, offering Will a different kind of connection than his history laden relationship with Angie. However, as the corruption case grows more dangerous, Marion's position as an ADA might put her at risk. Faith's character arc seems to be moving toward greater leadership responsibility. Her growing confidence and the respect she commands from both Will and Amanda suggest she might be offered a promotion or special assignment later in the season. Miss Pearl's revelation about trying to adopt Will opens the door to more exploration of his childhood. We might see Will investigating his own past, perhaps even looking into what happened to his mother or why he was never adopted despite Miss Pearl's efforts. The Amanda Wagner Will Trent mentor relationship will likely continue to be a stabilizing force for Will as he navigates these personal and professional challenges. Amanda's guidance has been crucial to Will's development, and their bond might be tested as the corruption case potentially reaches higher levels of law enforcement. As we wrap up this Will Trent Season 3, Episode 2 recap, I want to thank you for joining me for this in-depth analysis of The Price of Loyalty. This episode brilliantly builds on the foundation laid in the premiere, deepening both the central mystery and our understanding of the characters. What did you think of the episode? Were you surprised by Miss Pearl's revelation about trying to adopt Will? How do you feel about the potential relationship developing between Will and Marion? And what theories do you have about how far the police corruption might extend? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analysis of Will Trent and other crime dramas. I'll be back next week with a breakdown of episode